So as many of you know, Toriyama has passed away. It's been about a week since his actual passing. I think we just learned about it last night. And I wanted to make this video in remembrance of him. To be honest with you guys, Dragon Ball was a huge part of my life growing up. I grew up in Dominican Republic, watching Dragon Ball. Remember, still today, watching the anime, recording it back when we had tapes, recording the intro music, and then taking it out to the backyard, to the front yard in this case, and having the music play and playing tournament with my friends. So Dragon Ball Z was definitely a big part of my childhood, and I think for a lot of you as well. So what I want to do with this video is go over what I think are a lot of concepts and idea that Toriyama seemed to understand about good and evil, and maybe perhaps learn a little bit more about his character. Now the thing is that he was a very private person, and I think that is admirable, especially today. He had a wife and 2 children, and my prayers go out to his family. But I think that even though we don't have a lot of information about him, we do know that he was a humble man. And I think that there's still a lot of things that we can glean from his work. And that's what I want to do. I want to talk through some of the sagas and the things that he taught us, right, through this medium of anime. So let's start off with the Saiyan Saga, which to me still today is one of the most iconic sagas and most well-written work that he has, and animated as well. Now in the Saiyan Saga, I think that the main commentary that Toriyama leaves us with is this idea that you don't have to be born out of royalty or to be rich in order to make it in this world. And this is depicted between the last battle of Vegeta and Goku, where Vegeta constantly is throwing in Goku's face that he is superior because of his bloodline. And then we have here this meager commoner, if you will, in Goku, where he is able to match, right, the strength of Vegeta. Now, we can't say that at this point Goku is stronger than Vegeta, because he wasn't, right? He required the help of all of his friends in order to defeat him. However, it shows that somebody out of, common descent, if you will, can rise up to the level, if not higher, as somebody that is born, to a rich family or something like that. And Goku was able to do this through hard work and perseverance. And I do believe that this is the major lesson that Toriyama wanted to convey when it comes to this saga, is that through hard work, through dedication, you yourself can make it far in life, even further than those that have been born to maybe better circumstances than you have. And the last thing that I want to say about the Saiyan Saga, that I think is actually something that is carried out throughout all of the sagas, is that Goku doesn't do everything by himself. And I truly believe that this is a commentary on the fact that in this life, we're not alone. We don't have to go through struggles. We don't have to fight evil alone. We can have people that come alongside us. And ultimately, with that teamwork, we can defeat the evil that is in this world. And I think that if you look at all of the sagas, this is primarily what we are seeing. We're seeing some type of evil coming to Earth, and then Goku and his friends trying to overcome and ultimately defeating that evil. When it comes to the Frieza saga, I think that Toriyama had a clear understanding that there is such thing as pure evil, which is depicted with Frieza, right? Without any rhyme or reason, he chooses to treat everybody as if they were beneath him, right? Subjugating people like the Saiyans, and just using everybody to do his bidding without a care as to who he hurts in the process. And I think that this commentary is made well throughout all of the heinous actions that we see from Frieza in the killings of many Namekians, in the way that he kills Vegeta, in the way that he kills Goku's best friend in front of his face. Now, Frieza is portrayed to be the subject of pure evil. In the subject of Goku, what we have is somebody that is good, that is choosing to fight against evil, showing us that in order for evil to not prevail, good people like Goku need to step up to the plate and combat that evil. I think that one of the other things that stands out, and it's actually something that is carried on throughout the rest of the sagas, is that no matter how evil you are, you can change. We don't so much see this in Frieza, but we do see it in Vegeta, where we see a prideful man asking his so-called enemy to avenge his people, and he dies crying in that scene. And lastly, when it comes to Frieza, Goku does give him a second chance. However, Frieza throws that away, and then we see that Goku, at least at the end of the Frieza saga, chooses to actually end Frieza at that point, showing us that there is a certain type of evil that is undeserving of a second chance. Moving on to the Cell Saga, this is an interesting approach where we have a being that is seeking to be perfect, right? To be the ultimate being, right? That is the purpose and what he is seeking on this earth, right? And again, he is doing this at the detriment of anybody that gets in his way. And I think that truly that is and I think that if we look at the way that Gohan defeats Cell, what we see here is that somebody that is supposedly being the perfect life form is defeated by somebody that is not perfect, right? And I think that this is a commentary on the fact that we were not meant to be perfect, right? I think that there is a value in the pursuit of becoming better, but perfection should never be the goal, because we're not going to be perfect. And I think that that's something that is exemplified in the Bible very well, that it tells us that we were born sinners, not perfect, but yet we have inherent value because of the love that God has for us. And in this case, that is not an excuse, but it means to say we're not perfect, but at the end of the day, we can strive to be better. And in the Christian worldview, that is through Jesus Christ. A further story that we see develop, especially in the Cell Saga, is that we start seeing this relationship, right, of Vegeta and his family, right? We've seen a man that was, when we first met him, completely evil and ruthless, and now he has a family and he has a son. And he has a son that he has become attached to, and that he is willing to avenge, right, when he thinks that the Cell has taken him out. So we're starting to see that there is this progression in this example of Vegeta, where Toriyama continues to show us that there's always room for growth, there's always room to improve, and that everyone, or almost everyone, is worthy of a second opportunity. The last saga that I want to go over, I'm sticking to old school here. It's the Buu Saga, right? This, again, I think is a commentary on pure evil. I don't think that there is any other motive that we see from Buu in this saga besides wanting destruction. What we do see here, again, is some commentary on some of the other characters around Dragon Ball. For example, we see Gohan, that to a lot of people, threw away his potential for something that he would have rather pursued. And I think that is a commentary on the fact that, look, there are people that are going to have certain expectations of you, and to be honest, it's okay if you don't meet those expectations and you choose to do what you love. And in this case with Gohan, was to follow his studies. I don't think that there's anything within Dragon Ball that shows us that he didn't want to become a scholar. It does seem like this is something that has been a long life dream of him. Now in the Buu Saga, we also see the culmination of this story of Vegeta that we've been seeing up to this point. And we ultimately see this in his sacrifice to try to save the world. And one of the most emotional scenes, especially for me as a father now, is when he gives Trunks a hug, bringing to light the fact that he had never hugged his son before. And I think that, throughout Cell and the Buu saga, we have seen a lot of family-oriented commentary here from Toriyama, showing the value of family, not only in Goku's family, but more so in Vegeta's family. So I do think that Toriyama, in his own life, did value his family, and that's probably the reason why he chose to keep his life so private. At the end of the Buu saga, what we see is a continuation of the pursuit of adventure and continual growth, right? This is what, and also passing on the baton, if you will, where Goku now chooses to go off and train with Oob, which is supposed to be the reincarnation of Buu, to again, showcasing, that there's always an opportunity for a second chance, and at the same time that there is a time in everybody's life where the baton needs to be passed. Your work has finished, and now you're giving this on to somebody else. And I think that that's why we see Dragon Ball GT. I think that there was a point where Toriyama just reached the end of what he thought that he could do with Dragon Ball at that moment, and chose to pass on the baton. So again, guys, this is very, very sad news that Toriyama has passed, especially with, a new project that he was supposed to be very involved in. But at the end of the day, I think that, we have his work of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, to remind us of all of these things that, we have just gone over today. So let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, I just want to remind you that we must persevere. Catch you on the next one.